Hi, everyone, and welcome to Data Brunch with ICPSR. If you love data, this is going to be food for thought. I'm Dory.
And I'm Jennifer. If you're new to our podcast, welcome. ICPSR's Data Brunch is a podcast about the stories behind the data. We're recording in February 2026 live at the ICPSR Data Fair at International Love Data Week. Our theme this year is Where is the Data? This is a great way to get people thinking about data's journey from collection through storage and preservation. The ICPSR and international event and resource lineup are quite impressive. In a moment, Dory and I will share some of our favorites to help you get the most out of the week. Because this is recorded live, we will have a Q&A, but we may not be able to get to all the questions from our live audience. So if that's the case, please feel free to email us at icpsr-podcast@umich.edu if there's anything we don't get to live.
Thank you, Jennifer. A couple of things to note. For the first time ever, we are holding our biennial ICPSR Data Fair during Love Data Week. Love Data Week was established in 2016 as Love Your Data Week. And created in the USA, it quickly grew to an international event with a wide range of institutions, organizations, scholars, students, and other data lovers that we all together celebrate our data. Originally coordinated by Heather Coates, the planning committee developed themes, wrote and curated content, and developed activities. The aim was to celebrate data in all its forms, promote good research and data management strategies, share data success and horror stories, and ask hard questions about the role of data in our lives. In 2018, the name was officially changed to Love Data Week. In 2021, ICPSR became the official website host for International Love Data Week. The link to that page will be in our show notes. So here is what's on ICPSR's list for this year. Our webinars and events focus on data sharing, research methods, metadata, AI and privacy, scholarships, demos, and more. Register now and expand your data savvy. So today we have Adopt a Data Set, which is happening all week. And you are in Data Brunch Live. Welcome to the Data Fair. Later this afternoon, we will have a session on ICPSR's Data Communication Scholarship. So if you have any students in your sphere, if you can attend or point them our way. And then we have the Child and Family Data Archive, also known as CF Data. What's new at CF Data? Okay, so that takes us to Tuesday, February 10th, where we will start with disappearing data, monitoring federal SOGI data losses, and advancing accountability, getting better all the time, metadata enhancements in the ICPSR catalog, and then we'll finish with an ICPSR live demo, Data Fair Edition. All right, so Wednesday, February 11th, we're going to start with data sharing for real world and non-primary data sources. And then this is sure to be a crowd favorite, Data Lumos, an update on the crowdsourced repository for valuable government data. And next, we will have our NACDA study highlight, focusing on the Vietnam era twin study of aging, also known as VETSA, VETSA. And then we will finish up with the ICPSR summer program for the love of research methods. All right, so we will continue on Thursday, February 12th, where we start off with DSDR marks the spot, finding quality population health data resources. And next we'll have lay all your love on metadata, a new API for discovery. And then we will finish Thursday with AI at ICPSR, the February 2026 edition. All right, so that takes us to Friday, where we will start with ICPSR Data Savvy Teaching Office Hours, Data Fair Edition. And then we will continue with a reintroduction to the social media archive, new website, new features, new data. And then We will finish the week with Navigating the New North, Data Insights about the Changing Canadian Consumer Patterns. We will put all of these registration links on our podcast landing page. And if you join one, let us know. Take a screenshot and tag us across social media with hashtag ICPSR and also use hashtag LoveData26, capital L and capital D. Oh, hey, good news. We have a message from some of the first people to hit the Love Data Week start time. And it is, drum roll, our friends from Australia. So we have members of the Household Income and Labor Dynamics in Australia, which is also known as HILDA, the team from the Melbourne Institute of Applied Economic and Social Research, and Adam Zammit, designated representative from the Australian Consortium for the Social and Political Research, Inc., also known as ACSPRI, AXPRI, and they are all celebrating Love Data Week in Australia. So this is a podcast, but I'll describe for us, for those of us who are with us now and later. So we have a photo of a group of 8 people who are standing in a row inside a modern office space, and each person is holding a sign that says Love Data Week in red and black text, and several are wearing work or university ID badges. And behind them, there's a large digital screen displaying information, including a headline that reads, "Read the latest HILDA statistical report." And the group is in front of wooden paneling, and it's a friendly and warm and welcoming atmosphere. Special thank you to Ryan Perry at the Australian Data Archive and Adam Zammit at Australian National University, which are part of the Australian Consortium for Social and Political Research, for sending us this hello and for all of your great work as ICPSR institutional representatives. All right, on to you, Jen.
Thank you, Dory. That is so amazing. Thank you again for the shout out in the photo. Like Dory said earlier, more and more institutions opt to celebrate Love Data Week every year. As of this morning, there were 200 plus events that had been entered into the International Love Data Week website events list. Amazing. That list can be found at myumi.ch/ICPSR LOVEDATAWEEKINTL. I took a look at some of these listings and I thought it'd be fun to kind of give these institutions a little shout out. The first one I wanted to mention is from the University of New Mexico, who is giving an interactive workshop on data horror stories, which is about disappearing data, unreadable ancient files, ordinary researchers losing hours of their time trapped in data nightmares. All new spine-tingling, hair-raising data horror stories, and some advice to prevent them from happening to you. It is open to the public and can be attended in person or online. That will begin today at 2 p.m. Eastern or 12 p.m. Mountain Time, where they are located. Another institute I wanted to give a shout out to is the GESIS Leibniz Institute for the Social Sciences. They started already their morning, since they are over in Germany, with a presentation called 5 Ways to Turn Your Data Set into Clickbait, which is an online workshop. Kudos for a job well done in your celebration of Data Week. Some other institutions I wanted to mention include the Flemish Research Data Network, or FRDN. They're hosting a presentation on publishing sensitive data, why, how, and where. This will be available online on Wednesday, February 11th at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. And that would be to them, that's their morning, 10 o'clock or Saint Ur locally, and that's open to the public. The Ohio State University is hosting an online presentation called Working with What's Missing: Ethical Strategies for Incomplete Data. That presentation is occurring as we speak, actually, and is open to the public. The University of Waterloo is hosting something called Turning Numbers into Love Letters. This workshop introduces graphical and numerical techniques to uncover data structure and summarize distributions effectively. The online workshop is planned for tomorrow, the 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and is open to the public. And the last mention I wanted to give out was to Harvard, who are celebrating Love Data Week with a presentation called From Text to 3D: Word Clouds for Exploration. And that's going to happen later on today at 2 p.m. Eastern. It is online and also open to the public. So much stuff going on. That's fascinating.
Yes, thank you so much, Jennifer. So, two places that we recommend to make the most of this week that I mentioned earlier. The first one is the ICPSR Data Fair at Love Data Week page, which has all of the ICPSR resources mentioned here, and also the International Love Data Week landing page, which has the list of international events and resources like Zoom backgrounds, teaching materials, caption this chart, fun things for social media. And these are all linked in our show notes. Okay, so it looks like we have time for questions. And so go ahead and type your question into the box, and we are going to look for them. Okay, so a question. What data sets do you love? Jen, you want to take that one first?
Sure. So my favorite data will always be the path study because I started my career at ICPSR as a project assistant and learned about the path study, which I should spell out is the Population Assessment of Tobacco and Health. Um, I enjoyed working with the researchers who studied it, and I just enjoyed seeing all of the different waves of data that they produced. They're still an amazing It's still an amazing study, and there's still so much data that's always being released. So I keep a lookout for the path study. I'm always curious about what they're doing. How about
Me
you,
too.
Dory? What's your favorite
Um,
data
y-
here?
it's like being a kid in a candy store. There's too many to choose from. But one thing about ICPSR is we have data about everything. So right now it's Black History Month, and so I
Mhm.
love data sets about history. And we have a cool data resource guide that is about data documenting Black history in the United States, and it has inside of it data sets like a culture of disenfranchisement. And that one talks about how American slavery continues to affect voting behavior. And that one was brought to attention by the ICPSR bibliography team. So shout out to them. And also the three-generation National Survey of Black American Families. And that one is from 1979 to 1981. And as always, we will have these in our show notes, snow notes. That's funny. Funny for those of us who are in snowy areas.
That's yeah, that's right. I see a question here in our Q&A box. Somebody is asking, you mentioned this is a podcast. Does ICPSR have a podcast? Well, I guess we
Wonderful
do.
question. Yes, so ICPSR does have a podcast. It's more than one podcast, actually. So this one is Data Brunch, and then we have a podcast from our NACTA archive that has data on aging, and that one is I want to say theirs is usually on YouTube, and the Data Brunch is across podcast platforms. And a lot of times we trade, and so you will see an episode from one of the other podcasts be a bonus episode on Data Brunch? Good question.
That's wonderful. I did not know that there were two.
Yeah, or more. But I think we
Yeah,
might have
yeah.
some that kind of pop up and also our kind of like our mothership. So ICPSR is a part of the Institute for Social Research, and they have a podcast as well. So we'll link that if you're into social science podcasts. We'll make sure that you have something to listen to during your commute or workout or whatever.
Wonderful.
Okay. Someone says, I can take the next one. It
Sure.
says they want to know if there are any ways to participate in Love Data Week other than webinars for people who aren't in the same time zone. And I would say yes. So I would point you to the resource toolkit on the International Love Data Week website. There is some really cool stuff. I want to say we have even like scavenger hunts. I think I saw some crossword puzzles in there. And this goes from elementary school to, the highest in higher education. Like there's going to be something in there for you to do. You can adopt the data set. So one thing that is very popular for ICPSR now, I want to say going on at least 5 years, I want to say, is adopt the data set. So we have this list of data sets across social science, and you can find one that resonates with you, and you can adopt that data set. And that just basically means that you become a champion of that data set. You learn about it, you get a little adoption certificate, you show up on a kind of like a wall of website that lists all of the people who adopt the data set. So that is a good way that you can participate without worrying about time zone, and that's going to be happening all week. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Any other questions?
All right. Well, we hope this was a nice, fun way to jump into Love Data Week. And if you're sticking with ICPSR, we will see you later today and later this week. But there's so much to do. So just have fun and enjoy it.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful week.